You're listening to Superpowers of the Soul on the Superpower Up Podcast, the show that elevates superpowers to the divine.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Jennifer Urezzio, superpower expert and founder of Soul Language, and this is Superpowers of the Soul. And today I'm with Olivia Stefanino, and we're going to be talking about the money archetypes. How fun is that? Hi, Olivia.
Hi, I'm so excited. I can't wait to get going.
Me too. So, I always like to start with my favorite question, which is, of course, what is the superpower of your soul?
The superpower of my soul. Now, there's a good question. My superpower, I think, is about being able to get to the truth, to hear what's truth and what's not, and to know when people are telling me the truth and when they're not, and to kind of really recognize when something resonates, that it's a truth that comes from a place that is beyond human.
I love that. So, what is like your sacred purpose? And we define sacred purpose here as something that you're here to profoundly experience and then offer that experience to others. So, what do you consider your sacred purpose?
What I love about you, Jen, is that you always ask the small questions.
I know.
I think my sacred purpose has actually been about exploring power or lack of. So I'm doing it now through the medium of money, but I've certainly done it before in my life through the medium of relationships, through emotions, often by not having that power. And finally, I'm getting to understand what it is to step into our power. And it's not about being the tyrant or the narcissist. And I've discovered, certainly in myself, if not a lot of other people too, that we can often shut ourselves down because we know what it's like to be with somebody who is that narcissist or is that tyrant, and we think, I don't want to be like that. And then we shut down everything else that we are as well. So it's been a journey, an adventure of exploration. So I guess my soul purpose is learning that and then finding a way to share that too.
Yeah, and what I love about this topic of power is, really like nobody has any more power than anyone else on this planet. It's how we use that power and how we use that energy, right? And so when we're not using it or we're using it inappropriately, it can feel crumbling, right? Or as though we're suffering. So I love that topic.
Yeah, well, thanks for opening it up. And of course, it fits in so wonderfully with your own soul languages as well. I refreshed myself on mine, which of course I use a lot anyway. And one of them is about the politician and the master, the connoisseur. You taught me all of this, so bless you for that.
Well, I love that. And what I love about that politician energy, which is a mission language, everyone, is about they give the forum for themselves and others to speak the truth. So, how does this kind of speaking the truth and power, you talked about it as a purpose, but how does it reflect in your work that you're doing out in the world?
I think it reflects in allowing people sometimes just the space just to be able to hit the pause button and to speak what their truth is that's going on within them. Whereas often we think we kind of speak in the language of shoulds, don't we? I should be this. People will want to see that. People won't be interested in what's going on with me. So it's about putting on a front. Whereas I think I've come to the place of seeing that we're not the mask, but actually you become almost one with the mask because there is no mask when you're able to speak authentically. So in my work, I'm a coach, I'm a speaker, I'm a writer, I've written a book. But it is about just being able to be there, to listen, to hold the space for, to allow a truth, I think, to be able to come, hopefully to come through me, but to come through that other person as well, or those other people, so that it feels like a meeting of a soul gathering, if you like, as opposed to just more mundane discussion about what happened on yesterday's soap opera. If that answers your question. It's all sounding a bit highfalutin, really, isn't it? It's just about being able to speak about what's real, about what's authentic, and not about covering things up. I was a journalist. It used to be about uncovering stuff anyway.
So what is a common theme that your soul or your humanness has shared with you throughout your journey?
Oh, how long have you got? I guess it's probably about moving into a place of trust and trusting in my soul, trusting in myself, of being able to listen it's no good, is it, being able to speak a truth if you can't actually hear or listen to it yourself.
Right.
And I think I used to give my power away a lot and assumed that everybody else knew better than I did. You can call that low self-esteem, low self-worth. But I think I spent a lot of my life trying to fit in. And I didn't fit in terribly well, whether that was possibly as a child, as growing up. Always seemed to be slightly on the outside looking in. Now I'm really comfortable with that position, but I wasn't before. And I think that whole speaking that truth was something I found very difficult. I know, again, as a child, there were truths that I could see that I would articulate, but not, everybody didn't necessarily want to hear them, or perhaps it wasn't polite, or maybe it'd be better to speak that under the carpet. And I actually ended up developing tonsillitis so many times as a child, and then hyperglandular fever. And that, of course, is the throat chakra being completely blocked from speaking its truth. So I think the soul obviously speaks to us through our bodies as well as our minds, our intellect, our emotions. And I think I didn't know how to pick up those emotions. And I now know also that I am actually very empathic. I wouldn't have quite known what that meant before. But I didn't realize what was my stuff and what was other people's. So I just thought it was all mine. So if I had people around who were unhappy, and trust me, I did, I thought it was something wrong with me, as opposed to that was somebody else's. So I think there's also been a big lesson about boundaries.
Yeah. And if you're empathic, everyone, the simple way to know what's yours and what someone else's is just to simply, ask your soul, is this mine?
Yeah.
Right? And if it is, it will stay with you. And if it's not, it will just float away.
If only I'd known that a lot.
So before we break, let people know how to get more of you, how to reach out to you. What's your website address?
My website address follows my name. There's originality. It's oliviastefanino.com. So that's OliviaStefanino.com.
Beautiful. Well, stay with us. Me and Olivia are going to be talking about the money archetypes.
Are you here to change the world? Do you talk about things like vibration, frequency, awakening, and consciousness? Are you pretty sure you have superpowers? The Superpower Net is unlike normal coaching programs and conscious communities. We provide training, intuitive guidance, peer-to-peer learning, intensive one-on-one coaching, and a high vibrational network of people just like you. When you join the net, you get 24/7 access to a collaborative group of people who support you as you master your personal power and unlock your superpowers. If you're ready to use your superpowers to change the world, then join the Superpower Net today. Visit superpowerexperts.com/thenet to learn more.
Well, welcome back. We are talking about money archetypes today. Olivia, what do we mean when we say archetypes?
What we mean when we say archetypes are those kind of truths that everybody knows that when they hear it, that we all feel some part of it. It's almost, I think it was Jung, wasn't it, that talked about the archetypes. It could be the hero's journey. It could be those things that we just know to be true. They don't necessarily apply to everyone in terms of pigeonholing us, but just in something that our soul calls out to, and we just know it to be true.
So it's almost like a pattern or a path of journey or of an operation type thing or an expression.
Absolutely.
So how many archetypes are there?
Well, in my system, and it kind of came through me one day, there are 6. And it's unusual because it's not you are this at the expense of that, but we have each of the 6 archetypes within us, and some play out more than others, and some will show us ways of earning money, or how we actually put ourselves across to other people, how to connect with people better, what kind of ways we can earn money better, how to connect with our clients, our customers. But also, I just believe that money is a great mirror. It reflects back to us. It reflects to us everything that's going on in life. In fact, I've actually got a bit of a thing thinking that I wonder whether money is one of the greatest teaching tools of the universe.
Well, I think it's the most obvious teaching tool. And, I think relationships is also a huge one. And since we're in a relationship with everything on this planet, including money, it's so kind of instant and very clear of when what we're doing with money, even though we might not think it is. And I think that's why tools like this one support people, because they can understand, okay, here's the structure, here's the pattern, here's the expression. Where do I want to move this? How do I want to create consciousness here? And I think that's kind of really important when people want to improve something or expand something, that they have a practice, a tool, a structure to do that different. So can you describe the 6 really briefly?
I can. The 6 are the pharaoh is actually the leader. And when you've got your pharaoh in place, you've stepped into your own power. The pharaoh will make sure that you have the boundaries in place, that you're doing everything in a way that is actually listening to your soul. So it's about being connected into your soul. The shadow side of the pharaoh will come out as the tyrant, as the narcissist, as somebody that we always try and sort of avoid. We then have the magician. The magician is the one who is quite entrepreneurial, thinking, quite a visionary, spots the opportunities other people don't necessarily see, loves learning, and will always want to create more and more and more. The shadow side of that can be that they keep creating but never actually implementing, so they can perhaps don't see things come to fruition. Then we have the Joker, who is a fabulous, fun friend, if you like. They're great at connecting people with people and people with ideas. Fantastic salespeople. Everybody loves having them around, quite charismatic. The shadow side of that is that they can live so much in the now that they're no good at planning for the future. So they can end up finding that they've got no money left or nothing left because they haven't looked after themselves. The angel is someone who really wants to share their gifts with the world, who wants to make sure that everybody is okay, and they have that kind of that higher drive. The shadow of that can be that they put everybody else first and leave themselves out, and then find that there isn't enough left for them so they can go into a burnout. You can also then have the architect, and the architect is the process, the implementer, the one who likes to hang things off a framework and make sure that all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. In its shadow side, it can become somewhat pernickety and very, very pedantic, overly pedantic, and just slightly annoying. And then you have the prisoner, who in its light side is somebody who can actually see where we could make a difference, where there's an injustice that we can solve, where we can do something better, where we can make things even better than they are now. But in its shadow side, the prisoner can end up being the sort of the victim, martyr. Oh, it's not fair. Nothing ever gets better. Negative, negative, negative. So you can actually use all 6 of those almost as your own sort of personal board of directors, if you like, or your personal sort of help team, because they all have gifts to share with you. And sometimes you want to call on your architect. Sometimes you want to call on your magician. They're all there and they all have a role to play for us.
Yeah, there's a test, like a questionnaire that you can take, and I was the magician, which
surprise,
which totally makes sense because in other things, that kind of wording always keeps coming up, which I was like, oh, right on, and so I know, along with my sacred partnership with Money Languages from Soul Language, I know that if I want a little magic, I just remember, let's kind of tap into how a magician would do it, and kind of play with that energy. So I think what happens with money is people take it so seriously,
yeah.
And it's like life and death, and it's kind of like a giant game of Twister, and how you spin and where you want to put your next move is makes it a lot easier to think of it that way rather than, oh my God, this is life and death. So what would
Can I just say something there? You're so right. The thought that occurred to me this morning is that, we look about enlightenment and look for enlightenment, and I'd always thought it was about light. There's a clue in the name, isn't there? But I suddenly realised that there are so many things that we just carry around with us that are so heavy And if we just let go of that heaviness, that seriousness, and have fun with it, and go with the flow of it, then we actually become lighter. So maybe that's where enlightenment is. Sorry, I just had to share that.
No, I love that. No, share away. If somebody was going to start kind of having, playing with money archetypes, where would you set them down at? Like, how can they start just by listening to you, kind of working with money differently?
I think there's something about awareness, isn't there? That's the first step of any journey, is to become aware of who you are, of your own patterns. And what I'm talking about is completely non-judgmental. Geez, I've had life where I've been judged over and over again, so I'm totally not into the judgmental bit. And it's just about being able to understand those aspects of ourselves as if they were people. And therefore, by making a personality out of it, it's almost as though we can have a conversation with it. And I've used the money types, obviously, with individuals, but also with couples as well. And it's fascinating because you can say your joker might be playing up with somebody else's architect, and you might feel, the architect might feel that your joker isn't actually taking it very seriously, which might offend it, which somehow is easier for somebody to hear rather than you're just being really difficult, aren't you?
Yeah.
So it depersonalizes it, but enables us to be part of the story and to understand what's going on.
So it also sounds like it takes this interaction with money, it takes personal out of it, so you can have less attachment to changing those money beliefs and money stories, so you can expand and receive what you want.
Absolutely, and that's a 3-step process, really. For me, it's about enabling people to understand their money type, or their money types. Then we'll be looking at the different money stories, and there are 9 very often stories that keep coming up. So first find out your money type, then understand your money story, and then use your money types to rewrite your money story.
Yeah, and that's probably always an ongoing process, because as we expand, some of those stories are going to resurface in a different way, because it's just an indication of where you don't feel light.
Yeah. But the money types can travel with you, each 6 of them. So what you can do is to tap into them. When you find yourself getting stuck, you can ask them all. There's a meditation that you can do when you're getting some insights from each of them. What would the Pharaoh say here? What would the architect guide me to do next? What does the magician think? Am I having enough fun with this? So you can actually just start to use them to guide you. It's just another way of being able to tap into those messages, if you like, that maybe your soul is trying to give you. In the same way that, our bodies speak our mind, I think our relationship with money often speaks what's going on with us as well, and shows us those bits that are coming up to be healed, to be made lighter.
Yeah, and often people take that, they don't take that for what it is. They take it as a reflection of their essential nature, or what they believe their essential nature is. So if they believe they are not enough, that reflection of money is like, see, I proved that I'm not enough. And that's just not the case. And so when you kind of move into the observer chair and the discovery chair and start to have those conversations with yourself, things will naturally expand and things will actually naturally change. So before I ask the last couple questions here, how do people get in touch with you?
Well, if you go to my website, oliviastefanino.com, you can actually do the questionnaire, which will help you understand which is your primary money type. It will also give you a breakdown of all of your money types, actually, and you can see how to develop them so that you can get a balance. And there'll be all sorts of fabulous tips that you'll be able to find on there as well. And you will also be able to get money writing out to you every day, starting in a couple of weeks' time, actually. So that's going to be pretty cool too, because money's got some amazing messages to share.
Fine. So before I ask the last question, if there's one thing you want everyone to remember from our conversation today, what would it be?
Oh, another great question. I think it's going to be this. Everybody has the right to a great relationship with money.
Nice. So if you were a magnet on whatever you call your higher being's refrigerator, God divine, what would that magnet say?
If I were the magnet, or if the magnet were there?
If you were a magnet on God's refrigerator, what would it say?
Oh, that's such a good question. It would say, be your own guru. Take what resonates, leave the rest. Because don't give your power away. It would say embrace. It would have to be a very big magnet, but whatever. Right? It would say embrace yourself. See who you are at your core. Love yourself unconditionally. Forgive and be so grateful for everything that you've been gifted. You have so much uniqueness to share with the world, and make sure that you're not so busy doing that you miss all the gifts that the world has to share.
So you not only moved on to his refrigerator, it's freezer as well. So thank you so much for your time today and for sharing your knowledge. And if you liked anything you heard today, you can connect with me and all the other experts in the Superpower Net at superpowerexperts.com/the net. Thank you, and find your connection.
Bless you. Thank you, Jennifer.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Are you ready to discover your superpowers? Go now to superpowerexperts.com and take the Superpower Quiz today.